What's up, good people? So, as you can see right here, beside me, there, my Discord was so lovely to shoot me a tier list that they happened to notice about Final Fantasy 14. And as you can see at the bottom of the tier list is one and only Monk. And it's funny. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny because I feel like a lot of tier lists that I have seen since the beginning of time of Final Fantasy 14 is that Monk is always peacefully set at the bottom. And it's usually never because of like damage issues. Always circle around one thing. So let's go ahead and rip the band-aid off and talk about, why Monk usually sits at the bottom of the tier list and things that I think is reasons that kind of pushes why Monk is at the bottom of the tier list. And I don't know. Let's just talk. So in this article that my Discord shot me, if you want to join my Discord, links in the description below. Hop in there. I tend to chit chat and try to keep up with people when I can. This Discord talks about the best jobs in Final Fantasy 14. I'll have the link in the description if you want to read it as well. But usually 9 times out of 10, most tier lists are based kind of around the same way that this tier list is. And it focuses around a lot of accessibility. And when I say that, they tend to tier it based on like damage, but like how easy it is to play the job. And in this one, it's no different, where it says in the description, in his explanation, that if you can learn how to play Monk, like you'll be a beast at Monk. You'll do a lot of damage. Monk can do a lot of crazy outputs. But the play style is different than majority of jobs in Final Fantasy, which is true, which is very true. The playstyle of Monk is you have 6 different abilities that you can intertwine them depending on what you need in the moment, or if your dots are about to fall off. Monk has to constantly keep two timers up. It has to keep 2 dots up, potentially your damage boost and your dot up at all times. And it sometimes takes a lot of focus to be able to keep those up and dodge your abilities. Once you kind of get in the groove of Monk, it becomes a lot easier. But every tier list that I've read that puts Monk at the bottom is because Monk is too hard to play. like it's like and it's so interesting to me how like tier lists aren't based, like it's not based on damage output, because we know from Endwalker this expansion the Monk has been in the best place it's ever been as far when it comes to damage. Like damage there. It's competing with the top tier damage classes, and that's a first time in a long time that Monk has been up there. But the ease of play, people they scale it down, saying that Monk is just too much. Monk is too much. Monk it's just a lot, and a lot of tier lists tend to rate jobs based on ease of access, which is weird. Maybe I'm weird. But I tend to like jobs that are busy. And I tend to like jobs that are not easy to play, because I do play Black Mage as well. and I tend that different play style. Well, right now I think in this tier list, Reaper is at the top, Summoner and Samurai, where they said Reaper and Samurai very accessible and easy to play, where Reaper and Summoner, I don't know if I said Samurai. Did I say Summoner? Reaper and Summoner are like really easy to get into, and they do really good damage. And Samurai is a little hard to get into, but it can hit the hardest. But then they say Monk is hard to play because of positionals and because of the different play style. And I'm thinking, what positionals? I mean, if this was like pre-Endwalker, sure. First pre-Endwalker, Monk had 6 positionals that they had to constantly hit throughout the fight. Usually you end up killing people because you just, sometimes you just grieve for that positional. But in Endwalker, they have two positionals. And maybe it feels like more because of the rotation speed of Monk, but there aren't any positionals anymore. But I really do think that the tier list, all tier lists is biased. All tier lists are opinionated. How I feel about Monk is opinionated. So take it with a grain of salt if you want to. But I do feel that Monk does get a lot of flack, or isn't the popular class. And I believe that the reason for that is because if we look at Reaper, if we look at Summoner, if we look at Samurai, right? If you look at the top classes in there, Dragoon, Black Mage, all of them have something in common. And what's in common with them is they're aesthetically cool to see when you play them. They have a lot of cool effects The weapons look tight. The weapons look fire. You can get some really cool outfits for them. Your abilities look really cool when you do them. They're really flashy, and Dragoon's jumping through the air, and Reaper got all this cool anime stuff happening. And then Monk is just punchy fist. You know? Like Monk is punchy fist right there with Bard. Like there's nothing aesthetically crazy about the classes. Now, Bards, weapons, fire. But Monk, please, Yoshi P, help us. You know, the Monk weapons just, you know, there's nothing to write home about. And even as a Monk player as myself, I need this, you know, Monk aesthetically, nah. But the business of Monk is what I love and what keeps me coming back to it. And I don't know how, and I feel like Monk, there's always been an issue with Monk in any MMO game that you play, was that they're usually on the lower tier of played classes. And it's just because it's aesthetically, it's just hard. It's hard to like some, it's hard to get into something that isn't boom bam wham. Usually, you know, your eyes are attracted to explosions and cool things. And Monk, you know, we got backflips and somersaults. So, you know, when it comes to tier lists, I have a hard time looking at them. I mean, I tend to be the person who plays things that are near the bottom of the tier list anyway, just because it just adds uniqueness for me. Somebody who's also played League of Legends, I tend to play out of meta characters, champs all the time. so, so you know, these tier lists don't surprise me. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, these tier lists don't surprise me, because Monk can use some love when it comes to weapons. It can use some love when it comes to outfits. It can use some love when it comes to like aesthetically cool looking abilities. But it's hard to do that when your main source is your hands. You know, you just have to enjoy playing that style where your job is to pretty much beat somebody to death. Rather than, we don't cut people in half, we don't slash them with our blades, we don't blow them up with magic. We beat them until they no longer are moving. And I don't know, that sounds pretty cool to me. But Monk, you know, I feel like no matter how well Monk does in Final Fantasy, which once again is one of the top 2 DPSs right now, it's never gonna get the love that it can get, you know. And I'm not saying that Monk is nowhere perfect, but it is a very enjoyable class. And since the rework, we have seen a rise in Monk players because of the less positionals. It definitely made it more accessible to play than it did back in Shadowbringers. You had to be like borderline psycho to play Monk back in Shadowbringers, and maybe that says something about me. But I'm curious on how you feel about the tier list, where y'all think these jobs fall in. I want to, you know, let me know what you think about your classes. They wanted to post the best jobs up here. I think they're all here. They might not be, but we're just talking about the DPS. But let me know what you think about the tier list, and, you know, how y'all feel about the job that y'all are playing. Or, you know, if you hate Monk, express that below too, because I always just love talking to y'all. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video. You know, bruh. Come on, y'all. Y'all ain't gotta be like that no more. Show a little love.